Чел. Так. Бля. Сегодня сделали прививку от энцефалита. Теперь у меня, блядь, рука отваливается. Сука. Так. Сейчас пойду водички налью. Ща.
Great. Oh, I'm gonna hit him with this.
Fuck.
No way,
No,
bro.
this guy's fucked.
I'm sucking him.
Oh, shit on him. I'm so
I
smart.
got him.
Не играет это. Ладно, похуй.
Дворецкий нахуй! Терпи!
Нахуя мне прививка от энцефалита? Ну потому что на халяву. Чё не поставить как бы. Дурак, чё дурак сразу? Тебе предлагают халяву на работе, чё отказываться? Женя орут.
Сонуява! Сонуява!
О!
По-моему, тиммейт, блядь! Яма, убирай, пожалуйста!
Поживи, у тебя еще есть время.
Зона! Тубрю! Это нормально, ты пиздец нахуя сел.
Ты долбоёб, блядь!
Но он упал.
Какой ж ты долбоёб, блядь!
Здоровье жалко. Чё, прививка это плохо?
Ты чел, яма, беги!
Альт F4 нахуй давайте, найдите себе другого челика, пока.
Короче, нам еще надо просто выиграть. Тут 2 минимум.
Да нам ничего не надо, я ебал этот турнир играть.
Турно весело, выйдем, новый лаг.
О, сбор на стрим ПК 60к.
Сейчас потестим новый пик с роботом.
Сука. Я пошел, блядь, деду писать, пизда тебе. Нахуй дед будет страдать из-за тебя, нахуй.
Что напишешь, Бек?
Да сейчас, блядь, он все у меня нахуй получит. Привет, старый. Тут дело есть. Своего пса, блядь, пса нахуй, овчарку.
Ну, Бек, начало уже было неплохое.
Кракнул.
Вот сейчас надо
На тебя падает спина, у тебя, блядь.
Да, ладно. Бля. Они нахуй съебать не дебилы.
Я одного стикнул.
О, хорошо.
Нахуй у кого-то?
Ебать,
А я так и не понял, там ивент начался или не начался? Аж какие-то военные игры или как эта хуйня называется?
Клянет факбой!
We are so fucking much better!
Not that holes in this spot. I'm kind of getting shot at a lot. This is making me.
Look in the air, look in the air. Hit one for 120. I just shit
Что
on
за
that
о
kid.
чем?
See you on Twitter.
Там же они говорили, у них будет ивент.
I can jump.
Ивент, в котором будет несколько разных режимов. 4 режима, что ли, там меняться будут. Хуй знает.
I'm jumping, but I
Скины.
can't. Okay, last chance. I'm not inside here.
О! Just survive. Keep climbing. Just keep doing this. No! You can die now. Die, just die. Just die.
Yes, nice. See, this is how you really get second place. Wait, look where the zone is.
На звука нет.
Ресет крипто, батута и нормально. Можно туда-сюда еще. Ну эти глушите, что-то они обнаглели.
А нахуй все пикаются, я им, по-моему, типа...
Агрессора?
0.
Нас близко, слышишь, карты?
А что это?
Окна двери через.
А, ну это чисто мой массив, да. Что? Он нокнул? Охуенно.
Ёба.
Нарезки, где падают в пропасть, по-моему, лучшие нарезки. Ну, двоих.
Oh, there's no way.
They're over here. But the Ocking has a Kraber also.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Alright, watch me get cravered right now. Are they just sitting inside?
I think
Oh, look
they
at this
are.
guy. One's out here.
145 Horizon.
Another one. Nice, dude. Hit him in the air! Nice!
Damn.
Потное ебало,
Last
блядь.
one! Let's go!
Let's go!
Ну ты, например, так же с крабер стреляешь, да.
Зона у нас практически, я углы взял.
145 крипта.
Возможно, крабер.
Это еще, блядь, угол взял. 145 октан.
Пушим, 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 пушим.
Давай, давай.
Ахан захилился на мне.
3-4 гиба.
Нок, нок.
Я с тобой, я с тобой.
Здорово, русский.
Они имбу взяли, кстати.
Чаешь там пара роликов. Мы тут свои нарезки с Ванькой смотрим. Ты на имена не смотри, это мы на фейках играем. Ну, не самая лучшая наша игра, но в принципе молодцы мы там.
There you go.
Да, Ванька примерно так вот с вимом стреляет, да.
Everyone in the air, everyone in the air. Nice, let's go.
Как же сжимаю, да пиздец. Когда-нибудь я так смогу. Да, кстати, Ванька тут изменил внешне. Ты Ваньку давно просто не видел, теперь Ванька выглядит вот так на самом деле.
Блядь, я вот не знаю, мне двигаться или...
Сука!
Блядь, так не бывает. Алло,
Что не
блядь.
бывает?
Чел уходит, нас начинают, блядь, напикивать.
Если ты думаешь, что это женский голос, это на самом деле Рома с утра так звучит, да.
Суп? Смотри, что.
Собака ультанул, ультани, Беливер.
Да, блядь.
Близко.
Смотри, смотри уже.
Сзади.
Это убить.
Репа, ласт. Я свапаю. Нет. Хорош, хорош. Свапаю армор.
Как же мы их разъебали, господи.
Перебери, да?
Ну а так, собственно, мы играем в орех. Да, да, это мы. Все. Погнали. На чем я остановился-то? Не бойтесь говорить странные вещи. Люди намного могут закрыть глаза, когда дело касается представителей власти. Например, полицейских. Я решил сходить сюда и в итоге...
The unpromising glazed pupil returns. He does not so much as glance at the object. Stop showing me your pathetic cup. And
Херня твоя расовая теория.
look, babe. The disco dancing degenerate has run out of cocaine to shoot into his arms. This has made him short, fused, and impolite.
Coca has really fucked him over, Jan.
You could have used this opportunity to overcome your narrow, al-Ghul ravaged identity. Instead of unlocking the race enigma, you attempted to add to it unsuccessfully. Take solace from the fact that these thoughts will never entirely leave your brain. They will be with you on the day you die. The only germ of heroism in your body. Now go. I have beauty and truth to discuss with my woman.
Damn, Jan. How are you so romantic?
Was there an out of this for you with success? Or was the rhetoric game rigged? I can't tell.
Так. Задание выполнено. Окей. Только все равно надо с ним что-то сделать, блядь. Надо как-то его убрать отсюда. Вообще, по-хорошему, уже 2 ночи, надо пойти спать, наверное. Бывает шляться. Хороший полицейский, выспавшийся полицейский. Так, а у меня бутылки есть? Да, там что? У меня 6 бутылок. Не круглосуточно. За номер мы худо-бедно заплатили. Нужно убить время, купите книгу. Когда читаешь, время летит. А может так статы повышать? Надо будет зайти в книжный.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come.
Ты же в прошлый раз нашел свою досье, ну как бы я нашел свой планшетик, в котором всякого говна, по мои предыдущие дела и прочее. Вы там смотрели, что-то раскрыл, больше 218, по-моему, дел, да, есть. А чё? Там, правда, не написано, как меня правильно зовут, но все-таки это наверняка Гарри Дюбуа.
Maybe it's the bed's fault. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Что это, Silent Hill? О, О, диско-шар, а подвешенный я. Классно.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
Где мини-игра по натягиванию носков и трусов, в которой можно проиграть и умереть? Еще не вечер.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me.
You failed Elysium.
You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown? Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Особое новое похмелье.
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too, so soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork, barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Walk in a shit factory. У меня каждый день это работа в shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Yes, wait till you see the one with the chick in it. It's gonna be a good one. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night. You don't know. Some broad that messed you up. It'll come to you. It always does. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect. Ready to go to war against the world.
Почему моя собственная электрохимия хочет подсадить меня на наркотики?
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark. The bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting. But it's yours. You've earned it.
Меня вот это интересует. Какая-то дверь, соседний номер.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Ну, 3% я даже пытаться не буду. Так, а что у меня... Ага, такой приемник здесь идет, да? Минус 1 авторитет, минус 1 координация. Еще 3,5 часа. Сука. Бра.
The door is closed. Still nothing.
А что, повесилась, что ли? Господи.
Morning. I've got some good news. I took care of the body. The thought of him decomposing in my MC wouldn't let me sleep. I'm just glad he's gone. We have other matters to attend to.
Oh well, we'll get the armored boots in another lifetime.
Прощай, бронированные сапожки.
The lieutenant is downplaying his contribution. He got up before sunrise to get this done. And now he's quite pleased with himself for taking care of the gruesome business so efficiently.
The Union muscle finally turned up, and they look rowdy. We need to talk to them.
Бойцы профсоюза.
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the Union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the Union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them.
Парни Харди. Ну, наверное, они здесь все и пытались разузнать, что к чему.
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
Виктор 125, привет. Нашел тебя на Твиче, лагает, а что я тут? Не зря я рестрим таки включил. Он что-то вычеркивает, одним пробелом наших данных меньше и одной серьезной проблемой больше. Okay.
Everything points to the Dock Workers Union. The belt used for hanging him, tracks in the mud, the circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information.
Я очень странно, у меня пока и кадры не попадали. А, чисто проблема Твича. Профсоюз докеров. Ну, профсоюз докеров-то как-то слишком очевидно. Хотя хуй знает.
Which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
То есть нас могут здесь шмальнуть и им ничего за это не будет.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms. But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
А, у меня левелап. Окей. Что у меня вообще тут есть? Во-первых, мне надо где-то спиздить карту, блядь. Найдите деньги. 20 рублей в день. Сколько мне денег? Ну, на одну ночь у меня есть. Ты пока не озвучил Кима, как будто он типичный азиат, так что это уже тебя возвращает на другие стриме. Ну, я как бы не актер озвучки, чтобы кого-то пытаться здесь пародировать. Поэтому я просто пытаюсь... Мне бы хотя бы в слова попадать. Это уже заслуга. Эти деньги это хер с ним, закройте шлюз в среду. Сегодня среда. А я не знаю сегодня какой день, кстати. Получится понедельник, значит сегодня вторник. Все. Так, узнайте правду о реальности. У меня столько квестов, блядь, какой из них сделать? Вы понятия не имеете, где находитесь. Лена советует вам поспрашивать окружающих. Ну это с бабулей. Ключик на балконе. Это нужно хату обыскать. Лучше не озвучивать, это вообще верно. Я пытаюсь озвучивать не персонажей, потому что как бы текст на экране есть, они говорят на английском. Но некоторые моменты не озвучиваются, типа как описание. Вот, допустим, человек там сказал что-нибудь, а потом идет описание, мол, он встряхнул сигарету, повернулся к вам. Вот такие моменты я пытаюсь там озвучить как-нибудь. У меня уже среда. У меня среда через 3 часа только. Пойду снэс запущу. Русский, когда стримы заебал? 4 часа как? Ты что, с Хабаровска, что ли? Или Владика? Так. Найдите оружие убийства. Оружие убийства. Это мне нужно найти, как ее, блядь, мусорку, которая этот пистолет выкупил. Стоп. Орудие убийства, это же не мое. Это раритетный пистолет. Владивосток. Почти что земляк. Это с Хабаровска. Возьмите показания у представительницы Wild Pines. Да, блядь, нормальный микрофон будет, и вебка, и карта захвата, и апскейлер. Слушай, чел, ты устраивал стримы, у тебя нормальный микрофон, тебе нормально на нем слышно, господи. Я сколько стримил на камере от этого, блядь, от PlayStation 3. И ничего, как бы никто не помер. Вот эту бабу надо найти, представитель транспортной компании. Надо к Эврару сходить, типа мы сделали сайт-квест его. А с хаты говорят по заоблачным. Я там уже не живу сколько лет? 8 лет. Да, наверняка. А там вообще, в принципе, весь ценник заоблачный. Продукты, бензин, там все заоблачное. После фотографии татуировок повешенного, может кто-нибудь сможет их расшифровать, рассказать вам, что они значат. Для этого вам, вероятно, потребуется поговорить с 2 разными людьми. Окей. Знаете информацию о серийном номере, выбранном на броне жертвы. Так, ну это нужно на базу позвонить. Остальные части брони. Микрофон был нормально, пока я не купил карту захвата за 700 рублей, которая с драйверами использует стандартный драйвер микрофона, чтобы захватывать звук с консоли. Господи, как сложно. Может быть, не стоило карту захвата за 700 рублей брать? А дальше своими микрофонами пользоваться не могу. Только микрофон с вебки — это пизда. Блять, как сложно-то. Почему так, нахуй? Пришли 40... Так. Название... Да, название дела. Вот это пиздец важно. Потом мы тут расследуем, а названия у нас нет. Что это? А, это фигурка, которую я купил зачем-то. Так.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of paper. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. Handwritten logs on dozens of investigations date back to January 51. Stamped case files. Commit to paper. These are your last couple of months in Revachol. Precinct 41. Jamrock Quarter.
Поджог, мелкая кража, домашнее насилие. Окей. Я недавно думал помидорчик купить. Увидел ценник в 524 рубля и в смысле 524 рубля? Это что за золотые помидоры? Я надеюсь, что это как минимум за 10 килограммов. 2 дела в неделю — нормальная загруженность?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. That's a lot. This kind of case load would explain your solved cases tally on the watermark. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
За килограмм. Ну, что-то пиздец, по-моему, 524 рубля. Русские, у вас помидоры сколько за килограмм стоят?
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Окей, это возвращается к собственным бумагам.
Like a fan of girls, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Так, Ким, мои дела, кажется, имеют какой-то принцип наименования.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
Нет, я имею в виду не цифровой, с заголовками.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
Кажется, я назвал одно из них квадратная пуля.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out.
Очень надеюсь, что его близкие никогда не узнают.
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Рельсовый косыль проткнул голову. Пиздец, блядь. Я придумал название для этого дела. А я придумал название для этого дела?
Huh? Oh, yes, the name. Good.
Повешенные демоны ярости живут в зеркалах. Бля, охуенно, как будто книжка. Заходящая. Говно на палке. Ну что, демоны ярости? Бля. Уже поздно. Надо включить эту голосовалку. Чат, какой из вариантов? Я за второй. Я ж знаю, вы сейчас, блядь, за четвертый будете все, да? $130 рублей за кило. Ну, вот это еще нормально, но 524 рубля. Хуеть, блядь. Новости сверхдержавы, скажем так. Никто не выбирает, да я выбираю. Демоны ярости живут в зеркалах. Почему просто?
Furies. Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be honest, I'm not experiencing the internal strife that it refers to. I know, could you make it less poetic somehow?
Aww.
Just a normal case name, you know? Think, what would that be? A good normal name?
Yes, you know what that normal name is, but it's so plain. Anything else, please.
С прохождением игры я прям подумал, что у меня есть друг Ким Кюсураги. Я был рад, он классный мужик. Ким охуенный. А вот я игру еще не прошел. Я ее стартовал, когда она была только на английском, когда она... В каком она? В 19-м году вышла? В 20-м? В 19-м, по-моему. Вот. Я дошел до головомера, понял, что, блядь, это для меня перебор. И забросил. А потом они сделали перевод. Я такой, заебись, буду играть. А потом они анонсировали режиссерскую версию. Я такой, заебись, я теперь буду еще и режиссерскую версию ждать. Я не про какие-то черри-помидоры, если еще что-то. Обычные помидоры. Не, ну я так и подумал, что про обычные. Нет, так, загадочное заходящее солнце.
Okay. It's a good name, but it has one problem. This case has nothing to do with the setting sun.
Aww.
At all. It has nothing to do with that. Something more concrete, perhaps? Do you have something concrete? Mundane, usual?
Usual is boring. We don't do that.
Вот твой повешенный.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now.
Бу!
I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Ну, зато он хотя бы рад. Порадовали Кима, уже неплохо. Так, 3 опыта, nice.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from you. It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
Да, кстати, я еще про эти дела не прочитал. Квадратная пуля.
It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead. Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the square gun.
Диван в неожиданном месте.
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young and they thought they looked cool on it. Yes, as you've said here, insufferable rock and roll assholes. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it was. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it, too, where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved. No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next?
Ёбаные диванные мудаки, блядь.
Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor.
Ну-ка. Hookah parlor. Пиздец.
Beaten to death by a throng of Villa Lobos gang members when him and his partner JM, only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve, was doing it solo, said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister, was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had.
Оранжевый монстр? Смотри, а ты какие там взял? Ты же говорил, что ты 3 вкуса там взял какие-то. Белый, оранжевый и еще какой-то.
No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about.
Белый, оранжевый, манго. Прикольно. Бля, может тоже взять как-нибудь?
Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day.
Дебилизм ваш кальяны.
Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, blood everywhere. What happened? How can it be?
Я из монстра, например, пил только белый и черный. Там же они всякие разные есть.
Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin. Movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Table's low, heavy, really sharp edge. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom.
Нераскрываемое дело. Убийца исчез. Чел просто встал, блядь, и упал, разъебал себе череп.
Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was Murder at the Hookah Parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard. It's made of dark with your hands.
Ладно. Слушай, а манго это какого цвета он? Черный фун, не люблю вкус обычного энергетика. Ну, кстати, черный мне тоже не понравился. Вроде бы как и вкус обычного энергетика, но взять какой-нибудь, допустим, этот Red Bull, тоже вроде бы обычный энергетик, но все равно разная хуйня.
Let me handle this.
Я разберусь, говорит девушка людям в столовой, потом оборачивается к тебе.
Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. I advise you not to overstay your welcome.
Что это значит? Сегодня на нас наезжает. Вчера было само просто добродушие.
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
Ну вот.
Yes, extremely normal. I'm not a gardener, by the way.
Да, это понятно.
I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union.
Вот и этот юрист-консультант, сука. Минералка.ру. Минералка Стор. А, голубенький. Прикольно. Наверное, тоже себе на выхе возьму.
So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does.
Вы ищете Тита Харди. Полагаете, у него есть для вас полезная информация? Может и правда есть. Она указывает на мужчину справа от себя. Вообще-то я не искал никакого Тита. Ну, ладно.
That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming. Nothing official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her. Could this be the Miss Buford that Easy Leo mentioned? The one Mr. Everard sent to law school?
Ну, как бы, да, логично, что это она. Какую роль ты во всем этом играешь? Ты Лизи, Элизабет, мисс Бафор. Что если я хочу просить не Тита, а тебя?
What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinez, you are no one.
Что такая агрессивная?
Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Fuck yeah.
Высокий, широкоплечий мужчина прихлебывает пиво.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders.
Так. Монетизация незаконная, она крутая и прикольная. Может, вы просто не чувствуете исторический процесс? Понял, выебывается? Ну, потому что она не садовница, она если последний хуй. Она фактически второй человек после Эврара. А Эврар как бы глава профсоюза. Она местный юрист, которого Эврар, в принципе, она послал ее на обучение юриспруденции. Чтобы она вот отгоняла всяких типа нас. РГМ сильный, стоит на твердых принципах.
Look, a comedian. Do your job, ask your questions, then get out of Martinez.
Strange. It's as if people don't believe a cop could be a socialist revolutionary.
I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and focusing on why you are actually here. Titus Hardy.
Even though she has excellent control over herself, something moved behind her eyes, in the way she stands, in her face.
No. Talk to Titus. I suggest...
Even though she has...
You are not here to chat up the legal counsel. You are here to question these men. Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What are we going to do to you? The union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate. It is a labor organization.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. But we digress.
Ладно, хер с собой.
Hey, psst. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Чего, блядь, я коммунист?
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket. Literally murder all human beings, regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
Сажай на кол всех, у кого в кармане больше 25 реалов. Проблема есть. Я, конечно, говорил что-то умеренно левацкое, но не вот это.
Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that would devour and masticate mankind. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Помнишь, как звали мудреца в Зельде? Нет, не помню. Если честно, вот совершенно не помню. У него вообще было имя? И что за мудрец? Это в каком месте ты имеешь в виду? Русскую версию. Бля, не знаю, пришли скриншот. Хотя ты не можешь сейчас скриншот прислать. Сахаср... Чего? Блять. А зачем ты играешь в русскую версию, скажи мне? Закодили рукава и начать строить коммунизм. В чем вообще суть коммунизма? Да, ликбез по коммунизму.
Failure. It's about failure.
А нет вашего коммунизма, развалился нахуй.
Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb stomped, shat on. While everyone else is out partying, having a callous laugh, you will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world.
Чтобы с крысами. Да это же Зельда, господи. Если маленький Паша 7 лет от роду смог там разобраться, то ты тоже сможешь.
You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist.
Что риторику мою вообще просто погнала.
Now get to work, comrade.
Чё, как, будем строить коммунизм или не будем строить коммунизм, а? Чат, очень важное решение. ВК отправил, окей. Бля, я вообще забыл про этого деда. Староста деревни, потом семьи мудрецов. Нахуй кому... Так, окей, русский против коммунизма. Кто там еще живой есть в чате? Иван, небось, уже свалил, ему похуй, блядь. Конечно же. Фанни Оул тоже такой зашел. Здесь про Кима не шутят. Тоже пойду. К экзаменам готовиться. Байт стримера. Я байтить? Да ты что? Чё, за коммунизм или против, а? Не знаю, может он мне квест какой-то даст от этого. Понятно, пофиг. Нахуй
Very
коммунизм.
well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man it's over, unless anyone has objections. No objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a classless society. Everyone knows this.
Понятно, логика такая. Нахуй ваш коммунизм, блядь, это нелогичная хуйня.
Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one. Okay then. Lie down and let the water carry you downstream.
Прощай, коммунизм. Стоит ли мне сейчас их допрашивать? Это ж, сука, здесь постоянно будет или как? Миска, которую кто-то сплевал, воняет табаком. А я сначала сгоняю к Эврару. Не, сначала я бутылки сдам пойду. Нет, сначала я с базы свяжусь.
Droplets of rain fall on the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage.
А что, они с утра попёрли в бар? Ты про рабочих? А хули им еще делать? Они не работают. Тусят в баре. Потому что могут. И хуй ты ничего сделаешь.
Do something important? Something murder related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. This is a Caprice Kanema, the Caprice Motor Corps follow-up to their highly successful workhorse, Caprice 40, and the answer to the Lum's racing breed, Ferv series.
А может быть специально для того, чтобы я пришел и начал их допрашивать. А это местная юристка за этим всем наблюдала, а потом использовала, ну типа как байт, блять.
With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine, driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual gearbox, the Kanema is able to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 13.5 seconds, and go on to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. The high center of balance is offset by a large battery bank mounted at the bottom of the cabin, feeding all the auxiliary systems and making the Kanema effectively a mobile power plant. Due to a quite steep price tag, it is very unusual to see one in police livery.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look? $130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
V12.
7.2. Supercharged. Yes, an extraordinary machine.
Лейтенант пробегает взглядом по контурам мотокареты, и в его голосе слышится нежность. Короче, задрот на автомобиле, вот он такой.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up. Slam it down. Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot.
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first. Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
And means no. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Так. Серийный номер. Так, мне нужно к себе позвонить.
As you tap on the gauge.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Third officer, what's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it. Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
Перезвоните завтра? Сука, это надо было вчера вечером мне им звонить. Блять, да кто ж, сука, знал-то?
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
Блять, целые сутки ждать, да вы ёбнулись. Так.
Over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out. The tear machine stepped your bottles clunk into the machine.
60 копеек. Уху, живем.
Right to work! We were promised work.
The physically impressive man.
С этим хером пока нечего делать. Пожалуй, я пока не к Эврару скажу, я проверю ту квартиру, которую мы на ночь открыли специально. Потому что если там, сука, будет труп, блядь. О, Яночка курит. Че сидишь, пиздюк?
Necromancer pig? That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me. Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine. You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How the fuck did you get in? And then what? You fucking there. You fucking Kuno's kingdom.
He's trying to fuck at you again, Kuno.
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape.
Пиздец, пацан ебанутый.
Yeah, Kuno plays on snuff radio, fucks pigs, live, fucks their heads off. Kuno's a cop killer. That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam. Kuno rides the fucking lightning in there, pig.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube a day, rips mag like a motherfucker, and you could use a bottle.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it against you, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die!
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small time shit. Just listen. Kuno saw what you did there, dumpster diving. Sad shit. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real.
500 рублей. Ебать ты, пацан, коммерсант.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters F-A-L-N running down his trouser leg.
Pig, these are found modulars. Liquid fit, performance crotch, urban survival shit. Made in Mirova by scientists. Pants scientists. Believe it, you need this shit.
These could drastically improve your chances of survival in the urban wilderness.
Шансы на выживание в дикой городской среде.
Coach Physical Instrument endorses these pants. They are tartan ready. They will also make you into an idiot.
Alright, Piggo, shit's rolling.
Don't do business with the pig, Kuno! He's gonna steal all your money, Kuno!
As you can see, Kuno and C don't trust you. Can't do business without trust.
There's more to his distrust than being a pig. He feels threatened by something obscure in you. What that is, however, remains a puzzle for now.
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug fucker? Cause he's the clothes fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno! Speak louder, Kuno!
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal. But if you find out, maybe you can...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious. He likes putting 2 and 2 together here.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno! They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching! Get away from my Kuno.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get your shit done and I don't know. Kiptas gardener used to work there.
Kipt is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Areopagite descent. It used to be a common first name among the Areopagites of Ilmara. Not so much anymore.
Kuno said. She couldn't handle the heat, so she took off. Kuno can take it. Shit's nothing to Kuno.
Nice. То есть это садовница, возможно, делишки делала.
The fuck does this have to do with the Kuno? Kuno doesn't... Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't...
Okay.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream. Maggot sideways? What are you talking about? You need to maggot up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already, and the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to ascend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium. It will reverse the damage to your circulatory system.
Все вокруг говорят не стать наркоманом. Как тут устоять? Название книги «Человек из Хеймдаля и Дикий огонь». Окей.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
Девочка с пухлыми, раскрасневшимися щеками машет тебе рукой и улыбается. Нос у нее тоже покраснел от холода.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
Она притоптывает ногами, чтобы согреться.
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
Что такое книги?
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long... A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved. Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards. My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know? Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to help Mum out with the store. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a charity. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Well, they run out of money and have to stop doing business.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case. but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes, please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir.
Что ты знаешь о других разорившихся заведениях?
Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there.
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Что такое преступление, господи?
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him. You don't look much like a policeman.
Ой, похож на полицейского, да блять.
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
Она показывает на книжную обложку. На ней изображен бравый весперский полицейский, который мрачно стоит над телом мертвой женщины.
Don't say that. He's not even real. You're real. Cheer up, sir. It's much easier being a fictional character. He doesn't have to deal with real things. Maybe you can show me some real deductive police work, sir. Like in the books.
У нее теплая, ободряющая улыбка, разительно отличающая от властного образа Дика Милана, как в книгах. Самообладание сложно 12. Хорошо, сейчас я что-нибудь надедуцирую.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
Послушай, а почему ты все время прячешь руки?
What do you mean, sir?
Ты можешь мне их показать?
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
Ты грызешь ногти.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
В ее глазах видится вызов, она не впечатлена. Так, блядь. Сейчас мы 10-летней девочке докажем, что мы детектив, бля. Что, затянешь 16 лет? Я сомневаюсь. Она мне в пупок ростом.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't.
По патриоту 12 до 42. Ну, как бы и мне здесь хуй знает сколько дашь. Либо очень тяжелые 30, либо очень тяжелые 50.
It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
Теперь давай сама сделай какой-нибудь вывод обо мне, покажи мне как надо.
You're quite sober.
Вы сейчас трезвый. Бля.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
Он изо всех сил не моргает глазом. Это непросто.
Because you usually aren't. I sure hope you are, sir.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow. There's something you're missing.
Почему мне здесь кажется, что таким знаком? Внушение 3. Белая проверка. Внушение у меня где идет? Ничто мне внушение здесь не убирает. Консолидация. Да. Ох, попробую.
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time.
Она качается на ногах взад вперед.
You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir. Telling people about being a star or something. I don't really understand who those stars are. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see. You don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
Шагный глаз.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed.
Под
It
наркотой,
certainly looks
блядь.
odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
Бывает, чтобы бедный мужчина встретил богатую женщину.
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that. Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. sure she can help out. Maybe some about other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous. Okay, sir.
Окей, я думал, я с этой девочкой поговорю на секундочку, а там, блядь, диалогов просто хоть в жопу суй. Я вообще-то по делу ушел важному. Ну тут ничего не произошло за ночь. Окей. Бля, надо покурить сходить. Уже 1,5 часа, по-моему, без курева. Я еще ж в эту часть, блядь, не ходил. Жилой комплекс Кейпсайд. Это краска, надеюсь? А вдруг эта девочка? Она направляла краску? Внутри виден каркас ремонтируемого мотоцикла и инструменты, с помощью которых его разобрали. Ладно. Похоже, когда-то не 1 десяток лет назад здесь были и другие постройки. Может быть и были. Но эта лодка сияет так, словно его недавно покрасили. Теперь столько для жителей Рю де Сен-Гислен, 33А. Так. Ща покурю. Никуда не уходите. Что это за говно Spotify, блядь? Ну, инициируем полное погружение. Окей. Ваше здоровье. Ай, хорошо. Чё за хер?
A striking
Joyce
woman leans
Messier.
against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce.
Она протягивает руку в знак приветствия. А что, бухаешь? Ну, немножко, да. Я тут вообще дело расследую, поэтому мне нужно проникнуть в разум своего персонажа.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCN.
Вот представитель правления Wild Pines. Окей. Окей.
I'm glad to see you here.
Она крепко жмет тебе руку холодными пальцами.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Why, yes I am.
Сверху колышутся бело-зеленые паруса.
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Подождите, мы на архипелаге?
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Ravachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Риторика опять, блядь, загоняет меня. Типа, она богатая! У-у-у. Давайте поговорим об экономике, об ее роли вашей яхты в ней. Я вот тыкаю на журнал и атрибуты, и что-то инфу смотреть. А тыкать там ничего нельзя. Потому что я не включил, блядь, этот. Ну, как-то хуйня, короче. Плагин не включил. Меня бесит то, что нужно каждый раз его еще и включать заново.
Officer, I assure you, I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator.
Похоже, он не очень-то верит, что тебе удастся одолеть её 1 на 1.
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A? 33A? This old proletarian haunt here. As I said, plenty of people drive boats of all social strata.
Скорость реакции сложно. Парируй быстро. Fuck!
She takes a sip.
Okay.
Nothing happens for quite a while.
Сука, 72%! Как ты проебал, блядь?
As they do.
The thoughts happen inside his brain.
Помахает рукой, пускай наверняка поможет. Не помогает. Продолжай махать рукой медленно.
My, it's as if there's a tiny spinner on the side of his head and he's reeling thoughts out.
Except he isn't.
Продолжать махать рукой.
Lieutenant, I truly don't understand what is happening here.
I told you his methods are unconventional.
Богом клянусь, обычная голова у меня хорошо работает. Не знаю, что случилось, почему я не могу проявить чудеса сообразительности. Так, ну-ка, а что мне там? Скорость реакции. Скорость реакции у нас в моторике. Эй, блядь.
Your marbles on glass, dear. Don't worry. It was quite a while ago, but I think, yes, we were discussing my fast, large, ineluctably middle-class boat. Good.
Okay. Жалко. Чем вы занимаетесь в Wild Pines?
I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in
20
revenue.
миллиардов реалов за прошлый год.
Billion?
Что такое миллиард?
And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions.
Она ударяет о борт яхты, женщина хватается за грот так, чтобы сохранить равновесие.
Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. It is a tremendous responsibility.
Wild Pines эти миллиарды.
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavour. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? We built this district.
We. There it is. She owns up to it.
Сначала такая, да, я вообще к этому отношения как бы не имею. Я всего лишь представитель, а теперь мы.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP.
С этими словами она показывает тебе за спину, туда, где возвышается волнолом.
Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Что вы знаете что вы можете рассказать о забастовке?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Какую роль вы играете во всем?
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Ворота охраняет какой-то громила-расист ростом 2,20 метра. Вы имеете в виду Жан-Люка, моего наставника по теории рас? Он великолепный учитель, настоящий ценитель искусства.
Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
Забастовка с декабря, а она пришла только на переговоры в середине февраля. То есть ну, где-то месяца 2-2,5 ничего нихуя не делали?
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
Делает паузу, чтобы взять себя в руки.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Каждый рабочий член правления. Да.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines Group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrog, come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
If these strikebreakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later
Понятно
occasion.
все. То есть эти рабочие, которым могли дать работу, наверное, стопудово, блять, от компании. Чисто показуха.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say...
Он задумывается в поисках подходящего
A
выражения.
mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
Вы сказали, что произошла какая-то история с выборами.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
Предыдущая представитель профсоюза пропал. Охуенно.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence. Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name. And I don't have access to the union's files. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare? Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verne-like corruption, reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verne myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Что вы можете рассказать про самосуд?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
На мгновение он умолкает, размышляет над чем.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57.
Я свои документы еще не нашел.
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Она возвращает лейтенанту его документы, поворачивается к тебе. Действительно, что же стало с моими документами? Ну тут, короче, такая история. Вы не поверите. Помните, мой напарник говорил, что недавно у меня случился один необычный приступ. Из-за него я потерял удостоверение.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Насколько я знаю, я мог его съесть. Я ничего не помню. Окей. Просто скажу «да».
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
She must have been suspecting something for a while now.
Как тут, блядь, не начать подозревать, когда несу такую хуйню, блядь?
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Блин, с ванильной пепси-то охуенно идет. Ты бухаешь, вживаешься в роли, завтра ты на работу. Последние несколько дней на работе слишком тяжело, чтобы мне не пить. Я, кстати, в последний раз в воскресенье взял ванильную колу, прям хорошо. Да, ванильная заебись.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Окей, мне нужно достать удостоверение, иначе мне тайну компании не расскажут.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Чё, пьяная радуга? Да вряд ли. Я после стрима спать пойду. Окей, внушение среднее. 72%.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Окей. Наверняка ведь есть какой-нибудь другой способ подтвердить нашу принадлежность к органам правопорядка.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, A word in private before we continue.
Okay.
The bow collector.
Только прием. Ага.
It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face, a delicate composition of triangles. The streets seem to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shapes growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you, carrying your signals. The holy messenger.
Окей, нам дали плюс 3 трепета. Ну, классно. Даже не знаю, стоит ли эти мысли сейчас пилотское приветствие. Плюс или эмпатия по отношению к персонажу Кинки Сураги. Но это временно. Королевство совести. Актуализация, логика минус авторитет. Сделаю так. Визуальный анализ мне, в принципе, в диалогах не особо нужен. Шапку одену, потому что риторика меня доебала уже. Курс реакции пускай будет больше. Конкретизация внушения. Грубая сила. Как оно, Барабас? Авторитет минус 1. Так, а из-за чего у меня авторитет минус 1 идет? От предметов. Охуенно. Журнал. Велосезон? Что, погода позволяет? Так, ну-ка, но у нас сегодня наоборот ветер, блядь, поднялся. Мне не понравилось. — 24 градуса. Ты в Москве, что ли, живешь? Там сегодня за 20 было. Тогда понятно. По новостям говорили то, что это впервые там за 150 лет, что ли, такое. Белый траур. 5 часов. Ты видишь самого себя сверху. Ты отрубился на синих плитках пола в гостином номере. Даже с такого расстояния ты видишь, как дрожат у тебя веки. При упоминании чего. Громадный белый объект, спускающий сладкий запах, словно ландыш. Маленький человек забыл свое имя, но помнит свое чувство. И гляди-ка, он шевелится. Чувство привело его в движение. Он машинально тянется за лучшим другом своего чувства, бутылкой красного командора. Он надеется, что диско-наряд. Он надевает диско-наряд и становится все меньше и меньше. Похуй. Давай так. Погнали белый траур. Авторитет у меня и так в жопе, поэтому в чем мне, блядь, опасаться? Так, а что делать трепет? Это же типа мурашки, внутреннее чувство, вот эта вся хуйня. Хуя 6, блядь. Отлично подойдет любителям городской жизни, народным мудрецам, по-настоящему сверхъестественному народу. Ну, такое.
this is not going quite as I hoped it would, detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, you know, not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all. No, if there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
А, у вас снег еще не все? У нас, допустим, снег не... А, на больше. У нас снег еще неделю назад где-то весь исчез. Только погода, у нас тут вчера было плюс 18, а сегодня вечером плюс 6, блядь. Или сколько, плюс 9. Охуенные, блядь, перепады. Мне не понравилось.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
Завтра плюс 20. Ой, блядь, плюс 20. Беда, пиздец. Вот у Ивана беда, потому что у него еще на работе топят.
Very rugged. Good choice. Now, I suspect you had questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Am I right?
В лесопарке. Ну, в лесопарке это потому, что деревья не дают солнцу пролезть, поэтому такое, видимо. Если у вас там всю неделю будет температура плюс 20, ну, я думаю, оно все исчезнет. 999 кристаллов, куда девать, что покупать. Продавай аккаунт. Вот, купи пиво. Рад помочь.
This reality.
Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case.
Экспериментальное стороннее дело, окей.
How truly curious. A sort of philosopher detective.
Философ-детектив. На самом деле, нихуя не философ. Я просто ужрался в говнину. Хотя, возможно, это и есть современная философия. Откуда мне, блядь, знать?
Are they now?
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however I can then. Go ahead.
Alright, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Концептуализация 20 невозможно. Сколько у меня концептуализация? Где она вообще? Кажется, синенькая. Ха! У меня концептуализация всего 5. Май. Даже апдейт здесь не поможет. Полицейская война 14. Что такое? Придумай что-нибудь важное для тебя. Окей, все, где
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the real star of the show here. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol, and the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities. Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Как называется этот остров?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large.
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city. The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed. In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago.
Не такой уж со старый город на самом деле.
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean. The world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about...
A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor, light reflecting off their glass windows.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
А пристально смотрит на тебя, пока ты изучаешь горизонт.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Jamais vu. Дереализация. Особый административный район Ревашоля, Ле Каю, Островалийский океан, коалиционное правительство, Австралийский операционный штаб. Столько названий, и ни одно из них не кажется знакомым. Они звучат как настоящие, но что-то не так. Ты чувствуешь себя ребенком, рассматривающим наклейки на холодильнике. Трувант, абрикосовая компания, Всемирные игры 34. Ты почти видишь, как тянешься к ним рукой, подцепить уголок, попробовать отклеить. Это кажется тебе самой важной из всех мыслей, той, что обязательно надо довести до конца. Но, к сожалению, пока я не могу это провести. Интересно, а может две мысли за раз усваивать?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
Кстати, а что мне это даст? Ага, никаких дебафов во время мышления нет.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
Oh, of course not. You are already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
42% полицейского на. Погнали! Погнали!
6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
Что я такое?
You? You're an officer of the RCM. Preciso Mundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
Ну, понятно, учитывая, что здесь нет своего местного правительства и всем руководит внешнее правительство, а не внутреннее. Официальной полиции тут нет, и есть как бы мы. Как бы копы, но как бы и пошел нахуй.
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent, provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Ravasholians get to keep the peace in Ravashol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forced day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Грузовики на перекрестке.
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight, upstream where it's clearer.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
We did, on more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
Понятно. У нас тут вообще-то беда с наркотиками. Давайте отправимся в полицию. И два участки. Блядь, мы этой хуйней заниматься не будем. Это вот те, блядь, будут заниматься.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I suspect the traffic jam won't disperse for a few more days. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Of course, Detective.
Окей. Бля, уже час дня, пиздец, я тут наболтался. Вообще-то я хотел пойти к Эврану. Еще часа 3 назад, наверное. Обед пора. Вот мой обед.
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat.
Ну и, кстати, а вот картошечка на обед.
Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world. Humid, your coat shields you from the rain while the city shivers around you. Sheets of rain over the water, a flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinaise, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky. The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows. Will you ever go there? No, you are just one of the hundreds of thousands who watch them rise across the bay from Martinaise every day. Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs, cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction, a defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water. Coal City, end of all lines.
У тебя на голове гнездо жирных волос, присыпанных пеплом местных угольных электростанций. Где-то вдалеке небо поднимается столбики дыма. Что на востоке?
The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide. Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and immeasurable poverty in its shadow. You, on the Martinaise Plaza, a small dot looking up at the sky. Droplets form on your eyelashes. La Drusienne, King Dries passenger harbor. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary. Couronne, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain. A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. A yard, rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. The lingering odor of decomposition mixes with that of damp soil. A traffic jam, rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock. To be in Martinez where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day the revolution failed. Standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland.
I've a brother in the cut. Where the wood at?
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink. Coalition-era statics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
Ебать, меня мыслью накрыло. О, у меня левел-ап. Найс. Так, это что за бомжи?
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
Барабас! Ты тут?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration.
Ой,
You're
кадры
old.
по пизде
I can see
полетели.
that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions.
Ой, Гирт.
Shoot first.
Очень
Ask
вовремя
questions
подоспел.
Never. No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game.
Окей. Координация средний 10. Взять шар и показать им как надо. Бой! Ну так, на чуть-чуточку.
You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. You'll make it work.
Почувствовать шар.
The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory.
Шрамы от побед.
Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight. The nervous system calibrating until you and the ball have merged into a single.
Я един шаром!
Is ready. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. West, in the Grand Couronne area, a sharp overhand left from Arsène Luc Edelbrock sends the Samarin heavyweight champion, Kostya Miasnok Kostanicha, flying to the mat. The crowd goes wild. Revachol loves the heroes.
Есть еще время, чтобы заглянуть внутрь себя. Кто я такой?
An embodiment of pure motion. A fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency.
Сейчас как в ваших спортивных аниме, блять, просто 10 из 10. Инерцию нельзя удержать. Как нельзя удержать выпущенную из ствола пулю. Отпускай. Стань пулей. Вжух! Я правильно все сделал, надеюсь?
Merde! Bordel de merde!
По-моему, я обосрался.
It wasn't mid. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24 and then some. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
Ну, они, смотри, нормально. 23-24 метра.
What the hell is your problem?
Ну, наверное, они вообще играли совершенно другую игру. Я ж не спросил у них, в какую игру они играют. Я увидел шар и кинул его далеко. И в этом я преуспел. Похуй, что игра заключалась не в этом. Это детали.
I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 bull.
Петанк нельзя играть 5 булями. Пей танк. Я думал, торкаю ядро.
Well, it damn well isn't. It's pétanque. You ruined a pétanque game. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull.
Окей, принять квест.
Good. Mistakes are forgiven when men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try. Now, why did you approach us?
You never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point.
Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the night. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight. Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. No one. The bus has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officers. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
То есть, ага, понятно. Так. Я курить. Во. А потом еще пить. Во. Музычка. Street Fighter. Во. Ugh. Я снова здесь. Алкашку обновил. Что у нас тут? Ага. Угу. Ваше здоровье. В том, чтобы собирать бутылки, нет ничего плохого, и я этим тоже занимаюсь. Гордо продемонстрировать свой пакет для тары. Я сомневаюсь, что это хороший ответ, который нужно говорить бывшему солдату с ПТСД. Угу.
It's not charity. Not to me.
Такая зависимость только больше ослабляет человека. Борись или умри, третьего не дано. Это вовсе не благотворительность, не для меня. Лицо старого солдата искажает гримаса боли. Кажется, что он хочет что-то добавить, но не может найти слов. Наконец его глаза загораются, и он говорит.
Up there, I give it all I got. I earned my keep. But you're right, officer. There is no middle ground. It's do or die.
Something about him has changed. He's calmer somehow.
Yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp.
Ты знаешь что-нибудь о повешенном на заднем дворе танцев в тряпье?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely.
Что такое с большинством мест?
In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them?
У тебя, значит, нет проблем с копами?
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
Прошу еще раз, тебе что-нибудь известно?
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I am an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
Клёвый дед.
'Tis true, sire. He knows nothing.
Вы, похоже, играете в воронки.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
Это как-то связано с теми отверстиями от пуль, которые я постоянно здесь вижу. Ну, конечно, связано. Это после войны, после революции.
I do. Fire from heavy artillery. Why what?
Почему применили тяжелую артиллерию? Кстати, да. Нахуя все реально разбомбили?
Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Кто, значит, эти коммунары?
Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
Короче, коммунисты устроили революцию, порешали местных правителей, королей и прочего. И в итоге их разъебали к хуям.
This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that, they're the lesser evil. Damn right, son. They lit the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players of the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think?
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Заморские державы разгребли за нами бардак, а теперь правят нами.
I'm sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. It had nothing to do with anything. Damn Frisel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob.
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frisel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him, and he doesn't want to admit it.
The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the Fifth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
An extremely inadvisable strategy against automatic weapons. Be sure not to make the same mistake.
Ah, yes! King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Хуя дед соленый. Но он как бы воевал в войне, которую в итоге за него сделали иностранные, ну, заморские страны. И теперь фактически все это место принадлежит им. Потому что здесь нет своего... После революции здесь нет своего правительства. Они как бы... Не... Те, кто здесь живет, они фактически ничем не владеют, ничем не правят. Как бы... У них нет своего государства, у них нет своих структур. Всем правят из-за моря другие страны. Коммунисты сделали революцию. Потом заморские страны их разъебали. И теперь здесь всем управляют. И типа некогда великая страна пошла по пизде. Вот как-то так.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
Ну это как у нас. Царя мочканули. Только прикинь, если бы это мочканули какие-нибудь, не знаю, немцы, французы. И теперь у нас бы не было своего правительства, и нами правили те же французы, немцы и прочее. А мы как бы и есть, но, блядь, никакого веса не имеем вообще.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule. Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that. We could still be there.
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The Carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve.
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
You can't even take the responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revachol's finest years.
Of course, clarity of vision, awareness.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
Высшие миры.
It's really not. Please, do spare us the cocaine fairy tales.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
Right.
Самообладание, блять, 28%. Что в этом старом словаре такого, что придает ему столько гордости? Давай, 28%, погнали!
All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past and his old uniform. This is not uncommon.
This is the uniform of the Royal Carabineers in service of Frissel I, Guillaume le Lion, and the valiant King Philip V before him.
Don't you mean Frissel the Fan?
You do not speak his name, Craven, although he was a clown. But he was our clown, ours to ridicule and to mourn.
There's something you missed. You will get to it. Don't worry.
Окей, надо самообладание больше.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bruta. Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Bruta. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachel's problems? Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link. Yes, them, but also women.
Финансист, а также вероломный женчин. А!
Women, men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Women need to go back to the fucking kitchen.
Woman, блядь. Женщина. Женщине нужно... Пора вернуться на ёбаную кухню.
That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that women need to know their place. Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. You're going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Brota.
Стойкость мне предлагает. Ну чё, чел, станем фашистами, не?
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
Так, окей, я кинул шар. Как мне его достать?
There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
How about some premium class service over here? Like paying with net worth. Go over and ask him if you can do that. You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places. The box smells like cat piss or like an old person with no money.
Economical but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand. Keep the economy moving.
No good. All you can come up with are some treated wool pants.
83% провал, блядь.
And too loose around the waist.
No luck? Why not take another look, officer? Keep supporting the economy.
Ну что это такое на самом деле? Плюс 2 сумрак, минус обладание, минус эквилибристика. Да я ебал такие штаны, блядь. Ты чё, чел?
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves basically, perched atop them like conquerors surveying the land. A pair of found, durable wear sneakers.
I can see you with taste for luxury, officer. Can't keep your eyes off those sneakers?
Speaking of luxury, You should go over and ask about paying for those sneakers with your net worth. A pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossibly sleek and simple. A futuristic silhouette with a sleek monochrome colorway, a jet black upper, and a...
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Faun sneakers. Super air, super fine, super cool. Only 50 реал.
50 реалов, ты ебанулся, блядь, у меня, блядь... Я 20 реалов только отдам, блядь, то, чтобы переночевать эту ночь, блядь. У меня 28.
Only? That's madness. Faun Ultra. We're the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine?
Бля, зато скорость реакции и координацию добавляю. Сука.
These once respectable speakers have been conquered, reduced to a mere prop by the indomitable Faun Ultras. A small heat emboss on the veneer reads, Solidarity Aid from the People's Republic of Samara. The speakers themselves don't seem to display any magical qualities.
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stars here. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage. I'm ashamed to even use them for props. Don't waste your time on...
Samaran trash? That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. No, officer. You're a high-class policeman who accepts nothing less than the best. Lucky for you, I've got the best on sale. Well, if you want them...
Ща, блядь, Сатан запросит, да?
But see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If I let go of the speakers, where will the sneakers go? I can't leave premium lifestyle sneakers on the ground. If, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the sneakers too, I could maybe throw in the speakers for little extra. 50 cents?
А, понятно, блядь. Колонки продаются вместе с кроссовками. Но колонки за 50 копеек.
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first.
Пошел нахуй.
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small box, a variety of shapes and colors.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
Stylish shades, huh? They'd be even more stylish if you paid for them with net worth. Go over and ask abort. These are hideous. What's more, they don't even fit your face. You can feel them pinching your nose and chafing against.
Damn, officer! You look like a mega secret spy. Very secret. They're practically made for you. I'll let you have them for...
It's going to be very difficult for anyone to take you seriously with these things on your face.
No, you are definitely not buying those.
Лейтенант осторожно снимает очки своего лица, вновь возвращает тебе свободу. Их вы определенно не будете покупать.
Are you sure? But they look so good on you.
Плюс один электрохимия, минус один логика. Да я ебал, чел.
These are all boring.
Сейчас бы мне электрохимию еще, блядь.
Ho-hum sunglasses.
Электрохимия и так лезет в любой диалог, где хоть чуть-чуть завязаны наркотики, блядь.
Made of cheap Syrahese plastic. The kind of plastic that melts in the sun. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably direct more UV light into your pupils. A UV magnifier.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, super material, very cool. UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work.
Окей, концептуализация 42%. Давай, сучка, давай, сука!
All you find is this lime-colored cellophane visor, produced by a bargain sportswear brand called Amphibian, apparently. There's a malformed green frog on its bent cap.
Ну, я пытался.
Oh, that visor is perfect for you, officer. It'll definitely keep the sun out of your eyes while you're shooting criminals. Bang, bang! And all for a mere 6 real.
6 рублей, ты ебанулся, блядь.
Hey, at least it might actually offer some protection against the sun. Not like those cheap plastic shades.
I hope not.
You don't like it? Sure, Square Joe. No problem. Let's get you some real shades.
Плюс они восприятие. Да ты, блядь, иди нахуй, короче. Чё так? Почему все стоит денег? Потому что мы в обществе. Вот, блядь, жиза. Вот это жиза, блядь. Так.
The tear machine stands in the
Сдали
bottle's
бутылки.
plumb into the
20
machine.
копеек. Yeah! Чё все так дорого, блядь? Так, по-хорошему мне нужно с водилами поговорить, но я сначала пойду к жирной свинье, блядь.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. The drawer slump. This is the night watchman's booth. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here.
Есть у меня что-то повышающее риторику? Угу. Нихуя, блядь, пошел нахуй. Вот что у меня есть. Так, ну у меня есть предмет, который риторику понижает.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If any...
3% просто пошел нахуй. Понятно. Блять, квестов просто пиздец. Так, сколько еще? 3 часа, блядь. Окей. Надеюсь, этот хуй даст нам какую-нибудь полезную, блядь, информацию. Давай, блядь, жаба.
Mr. Dubois, see you
Так.
soon, Dubois.
Империя эмпатия. Нахуй. Понижает авторитет над вами. Мне это не нужно. Риторика я ебал. Риторика, блядь, топит за ебучий коммунизм, нахуй. Погнали.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here.
Ну, на самом деле, я заглянул в эту квартиру, но тебе, жаба, я об этом не скажу.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Плохие парни. А вы, значит, хорошие парни. Коррумпированные, тупые, хорошие парни. Ну ты, блядь, расскажешь хуйные истории, блядь, чел, блядь. Жаба ебаная. Баба, которая представляет вот эту контору, она хотя бы так мне жопу не лижет. Чё, пьёшь-то? Я пью пепси ванилу. И вот это вот говнище. За 1000. Жёлку Дэниелса. Потому что Джека пить без чего-то, это просто моча. Потому что Джек сам по себе, ну это говно. Но с пепси это неплохо. На кого работал наш покойник? На плохих ребят? Ну да, рассказывал охуенные истории. Еще одна насильственная мера тех, кто носит цилиндры, против тех, кто носит кепки.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
Они присылают наемных убийц, чтобы скосить нас пулеметным огнем. И тем не менее, один из этих убийц все-таки был убит, а вы нет.
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
Yes. Ой.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Они хотят сделать из этого сделать из Ревашоля трущобы. Ревашоль это 8% их выручки. Последнее, что они хотят здесь сделать, это трущобы.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
Ну, это и есть преступная группировка. Организованная преступная группировка.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
То есть он фактически признал, кто убил вот этого чела. Но при этом говорит, ну они как бы неприкосновенны, и вы нихуя с этим не можете сделать, так что хули, блядь.
So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman. How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is colossal.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets. You know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
Блядь, жаба ебаная, блядь.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left, so you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
He thinks he can force you into his scheme. You can turn this around on him if you accept.
Он думает, что может силой встроить тебя в свои планы. Но если ты примешь предложение, то сможешь его переиграть. Да хуй знает, блядь.
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
Ох,
You bring
погнали.
joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun.
Ладно. Вообще на этом бы пора уже заканчивать. Жирный уебан фактически просто сдал на своих ребят, но при этом сказал, что хули вы им сделаете, блядь. Они здесь местные копы от профсоюза, они вообще нахуй неприкасаемые. Белый конверт с маркой в правом верхнем углу. Получен от Эврара Клера. Внутри какие-то юридические документы на имя Изабель Сади и Лилиен Картер. Необходимые подписи обеих сторон.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door. Once the construction starts, it will probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
I should have seen it. Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try a forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite. The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
Ладно, я на этом оффую. Уже 12:15. Завтра, сегодня на работу всем. Не забываем об этом. Эх. Так. Ну чё, половину примера второго дня я прошел. Я все еще не нашел свой пистолет. Я все еще не нашел свои документы. Зато я поговорил с этой самой, блядь, юрист-консультант, или как ее там зовут. Короче, с юристом и с представителем компании. Неплохо. Добрался до башни Геры. Я пиздец как раз за тебя. Я нихуя не понимаю, но это хуенно. Иван, го на часок в радугу или нахуй? Такой вопрос. В любом случае, я зашел в Дискорд, а сейчас я оффую. Всем спасибо, всем пока, до новых встреч. Бывайте, я пойду покурю.